How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a wonderful day today. It is time to get creative, time to get into some animation, time to get imaginative, and time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from the wonderful, the amazing Marshall Vandruff. And he is a great art teacher. He lives down here in Southern California. California connection. Woohoo. And I was able to grab one of his anatomy classes couple years ago, and it really got me hooked into like studying anatomy a lot more than I did. Unfortunately, I don't know if I still have my notes from that class. I was going to share them with you, but they might have gotten lost in the great storage facility debacle of 2011. Anyways, but he really breaks down anatomy and teaches the importance of studying anatomy and bringing that into any sort of creative work, because having a basis for structure underneath everything else, like if you're doing really like fantasy drawings, to have some sort of anatomical structure in the basis of it will help bring realism and help create that illusion of life to your drawings. Excuse me, got the hiccups. And the same with animation, if you can be true to anatomical structures, even with creatures or characters that totally, have no actual reality, but if you can give them that sense of bones and muscles and everything that's moving underneath them, it's going to really create that extra level of realism to your stuff. So anyways, I grabbed a couple of images of his, which I thought were really cool, just from his gallery, which I'll link in the information below, as well as if I do a Google search and see if you can find a copy of his anatomy class, or if you can pay to take one of his classes. They definitely helped me really get a better idea about the importance of it. And let's see here. But yeah, I just really love, you can tell that even though there's a definite amount of exaggeration in his drawings and everything, there's still that structure down below that makes his drawings super believable, and a nice sense of realism even through like caricatured and exaggerated and really fantastical creatures. And then above and beyond that, I grabbed this cool little quote, since this image isn't loading for some reason, from him as well. One reason that people have artist block is that they do not respect the law of dormancy in nature. Trees don't produce fruit all year long. Constantly, they have a point where they go dormant. And when you're in a dormant period creatively, if you can arrange your life to do the technical tasks that don't take the creativity, you're essentially preparing for the spring when it will all blossom again. And I think that's important thing to talk about that we haven't really talked about, because we do these daily videos. And hopefully we'll be able to continue with that pacing and everything too. But and I definitely see it in my own work too. There's days where I'm totally distracted and I'm thinking about a million things, and my work isn't as solid or as pushed, or I'm not stretching as far as I could every day. But I think that's okay. It's okay to have that balance, that yin and yang, and it doesn't mean that you don't push yourself and keep trying and keep going for things, but it's okay to have those days where you're a little more dormant in your creativity, because maybe you're just letting your mind kind of breathe, so that tomorrow you can come up with some more creative ideas, or after you're done for the day, just let yourself have some time to space out and do something else that you like. And it doesn't mean that you're giving up on your dreams, or you're not pushing yourself towards them, but just that you're creating that level of balance for that creative part of you to just kind of simmer and lay dormant, so that it can start building up a new stock of things to be creative with. And I think that's a really interesting point, and he said it perfectly here. And I will link to his stuff down below, and like I said, there's a couple of his things over on YouTube as well that you definitely check out. He just has a really interesting and amazing way of teaching. I really feel like the way that he words stuff and presents things is great. So definitely check him out. But without further ado, let's get into today's animation. This is the Krag rig over from free rig you can download from Creative Crash. I think I may have tinkered with this rig once, like 4 years ago, but I've never really animated with it or anything. So let's get into doing some of this. If you're new to this series, what we do is give ourselves anywhere from like 45 minutes to 2 hours. Give ourselves 48 frames and kind of see what we can come up with animation. It's a little bit of over the shoulder. I think my caps lock is on here. Is that on? Oh, okay, well, whatever. Yeah, but we do a little bit of instruction, sometimes talk about theory, kind of work through and troubleshoot through problems, just kind of have an animation buddy or a creative buddy out there who's working with you every day, you know, working to get to that end goal and striving to get better every day. For those of you who are just starting out in animation, hopefully there's some stuff that you can learn and pick up. And for those of you who, like I said, are more polished, more professional, already, you know, solidified in the industry, hopefully you have something where maybe you bring up some artists that you haven't looked up, or bring up some inspiration, or remind you of things that maybe you haven't thought of in a while. And bare minimum, at least feel like you have someone else in the creative trenches with you that's dealing with being creative every day. So that being said, let's get into here, and the first thing we want to do is we want to get a good starting pose, one of those good storytelling poses. And I was thinking for this one, what might be fun, since we don't have a ton, is to do kind of almost like he's getting ready to pounce kind of a stance here. Thought that would be fun to do with this one. There's a thing that I noticed we have mentioned it before, that we're kind of babysitting a little kitty right now, and she does this thing where she'll kind of get down really low. She'll have her hind legs up and her tail up, and she'll like stalk things, even, and she's just a baby cat. But I think that would be kind of a fun thing to try to get into that kind of a idea, if we could sell that pretty well. And again, this is kind of a, you know, big head, big body, not a whole lot, so we're gonna have to try and sell it with a simple silhouette and not make it too complicated, or the shape won't be there and won't be able to be easily read. Let's go ahead and pull the jaw up a little bit. Maybe we can rotate that down a little bit more. Push it over. Rotate that head. I don't want it to feel broken though. And unfortunately I messed around a little bit before starting with this video, trying to see if I could get those eyes to work a little bit better, but there's a little bit of deformation and breaking in them. But we'll just have to work with that. Get some variation here in the schnoz. I don't want to see angry, but I think more intense or focused eyes would be a little bit better. No, it's this one. It's the hip controller versus the root. So how's this going to play out different? It just lets us do a little bit of overlap, I guess, is what it'll bring about there. And let's get into these little hands here. Go ahead and pull them up. Perch them in. I don't think we'll be able to do too much with those hands, but we'll do a little bit to keep them alive here. Alright, that looks like an okay starting pose. Maybe we could do a little variation just so that we know there's two of them here. Help solidify that a little bit more. And maybe a little bit of rotate Z here. And a little bit back, just so there's some variation between them. I don't think there's any finger controls on here as well. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and we'll turn everything off and just put our NURB curves, NURB surfaces, and our polygons on, so that way we're not keying things. So turn our grid off there. And let's go ahead and, actually before we do anything, let's go ahead and save our file. Go to File, Save Scene As. I'll go ahead and just call this Krag walk and save. Now let's go ahead and grab everything here, go to frame 1, and we'll set a key there. Alright, now let's get in and start building this walk. First thing we want to do is get our foundational stuff set up, which is going to be like our steps and our hips working. So let's go ahead and get those in. And, you know what? Let's go ahead and make sure that we get everything right here. What kind of steps what should we do for our timing? I feel like if we keep with 12s like we normally do, it might be a little slow. So let's try doing everything on 5s. We can always readjust that if that seems too quick. But it's a very, even though it's simplistic, it's got a lot of character to this rig as well. Why is that not going down? Should be translate. Okay, so it looks like they have the move that and translate X. I guess is that way. Usually that's a Z translation, but that's okay. Just want to make sure that we're not going in a bunch of directions that we don't want. So that means this should be translate. Nope, this is translate Z, but the legs are translate X. Funky. Okay. And let's just go ahead and pull those knees forward. Okay, and let's go ahead and raise that foot up. So that should be translate Z then. So let's see. And let's zero that out. Ooh, we got some problem with the eyes there. What's going on with those eyes? Let's go ahead and delete that key. And there we go. Okay. Just got to anticipate where we would have problems, and those seem to be... That's okay. Okay, and let's go to this foot, and you know what, I think we went back on our timing though. So let's get our window, animation editors, graph editor, and what's going on here? Delete that. Weird. Okay. Just want to make sure we're keeping kind of with that timing there. And then let's go ahead and go here. And what was that? Translate X. I'm going to push that foot forward there. I think we're going to have to turn it. Do something like this, and let's make sure we get that knee pulled out here as well. So let's see. And so we'll go and set that there. We'll raise that up. The only thing I'm worried about is these feet are kind of splaying out a little bit more than they are, so we're going to have to take what we have here and push that in a little bit more. And I think we're going to have to, it's going to be kind of a mixture there of our translation. That's okay. We gotta go with whatever the rig is gonna present to us. And we'll set that there. And so I think what we'll do, instead of sticking with, you know, necessarily moving it in one curve or not, is we'll just move it universally. That'll be a little bit easier. And we'll just raise it up. Rather than going in here and setting our values with Y, X, and Z, we'll just do them kind of in world space. And that's okay. Just means the tweaking will have to tweak more than one curve to get that kind of movement. Instead of just going in and just tweaking the Y curve, it'll be like a combination between like Y and X or Y and Z. And it's not necessarily the way that I normally like to work, but that's the way that this rig's kind of set up, so that's okay. This forward a little bit more. Set that there, set that there. That feels a little too far forward. Set that there and go here. And Actually, let's give us 50 frames to work with, just so we keep within that. Working on 5s and 10s here. So it'll be a little bit longer than 2 seconds for today. That's okay. And we'll set that there. We'll raise that up. And let's go ahead and make sure we're pushing those hips forward here. Okay, let's make sure we got like enough spacing between those steps that it's kind of even. This one should be a little bit further. And that foot, I would say, should be a little bit further. We just want to kind of keep the spacing between the steps a little more even. So this one we're going to want to take there and push that forward a little bit more. We want to have it slide, so make sure we rekey that one. And 40. We want that to be forward there. Set and set that. Make sure we got the hips going forward enough there. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch it. Okay, it's not even enough. And that's one of the things we'll have a little struggle with, just because we're moving in with 2 curves to get the same amount. We can't really balance it out as well as would be nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete that, and that should give us a little more. And so what we're doing is we're making sure that we've got kind of some better spacing in those mid positions there, that they're not favoring too far back or too far forward. Watch it from this side. This might be too big of a step, so we might have to go back a little bit there, and back a little bit there. So let's go ahead and save our file here. We've got enough going that we can do some more stuff here with that. So let's go ahead and raise it up and push it down. Raise it up and push it down and raise it up and push it down. This will add and get our sense of weight from doing some up and down here. We might be too low. We might have to pull those overall up a little bit more. So let's go ahead and watch it. Okay, too much up and down. So let's go here and let's minimize all that. But I'm noticing that we're probably going to have to push universally up higher in Y. It's just too much down low, and that's causing some intersection with the legs and the feet and the hips. With the hips. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's see. Now, what I originally was thinking was we'd do more like this. Come on. I think we want to do a little more weight there. Okay, let's go let's go ahead and do a little bit of side to side here on the hips. So it's gonna be, see, but I like the hips. The hips I feel like are working better than the feet are for this one, because we can keep to one translation rather than having to find a blend between the two. And let's zero that out. We're just shifting the weight over so it favors the whatever is the planted foot here. And one thing I do want to do is I want to adjust this foot. I feel like it's splayed a little too much. Just feel like it's a little bit better if the feet are a little more inward. Okay, let's watch it now. Now, should we maybe adjust this one in a little bit more? Just a little bit. The other one felt like it was too far out. This one feels like maybe just a little adjustment will be fine here. Let's watch that again, make sure that it's working okay. Okay, now let's go ahead and save our file again. It's good to always save multiple versions and save often, just in case something unexpected happens with your file. You want to be able to revert onto an older version if need be. And go ahead and do that. Now we're just rotating the hips to favor that planted foot. Let's go ahead and go here and let's rotate with a little bit of Y to favor the front planted foot here. And rotate there, rotate there, rotate there, rotate there, rotate there. Okay, now let's go ahead and even up those rotates. And the nice thing, this is my 2010, and I do like the newer versions. I think there's a lot of great features in there, but for streaming, I really like, or recording, or any of this kind of live stuff, I like to be able to use 2010 because I feel like it's a better frame rate, so I can show you this stuff playing better in real time. But a lot of the rigs that I show, or that we use here, I try to find you free ones, don't always work with the older versions of Maya, so it's nice when we can do that, because then I don't have to work through that. I think we might have a little too much side to side going here, so let's go ahead and squash that down here. Let's give us maybe only 10, and we gotta even that out either. Okay, go ahead. Give me 1 sec. Okay, sorry about that. And let's go ahead. That feels okay. It's the neck, and that's the upper jaw. So let's see if we can use the neck kind of like a chest here. And then we can like offset that. We'll see if that'll work. So we can use that to have like some sort of change of shape in the chest area. Since there's not a lot of, and we'll probably have to tone this down a lot since that head's huge. Got a big old head, but I think that adds a lot of character to this rig by having that big head. But we just have to be aware of how much we use something like this, because a little is going to go a long way with such a big change of shape there. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch that now. Let's see. Okay, but what we're going to have to do is do... oh, there's nothing that we got for this. I guess we could do... I just want to get a little bit of that change of shape in there, but I don't necessarily want it to affect the head so much. So let's see. So maybe we got too much here, so I'll still go back and we'll shrink that down even more. Okay. Let's go and watch that now. See what we got here. A little bit of rotate Z here, rotate Z there, Z there, rotate Z there, rotate Z there, and Z down here. Let's see what we got. Okay. Feels like it's favoring one side over the other, and that would be because it is. Check that out. That's why I felt like it was too far one way and not enough the other way. It's because it was. And I feel like we're just going to have to really minimize this a lot. Just too much movement on the head here. So let's go into the rotate Y and let's cut that down a little bit more here. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch that now. It feels like that's enough. Yeah. And then let's go ahead and do a little bit of like kind of squash and stretch with this chest or compression here. But remember, a little is going to go a long way with this character because it is so small. We have to be aware of that. So let's go ahead and tone that down a lot. And then we're going to offset that with the rotation in the neck. So hopefully it's not going to be a ton. It's just going to give us that little bit of compression and give a little bit of fleshiness, hopefully, if we get it right to that body so that it won't feel so rigid. Because a lot of animation is about change of shape. And, you know, if you don't get enough of that in there, it's not going to feel right. So let's see here. Okay, it's probably going to be way too much, so we'll turn that down, and then let's go ahead and do that in the head here. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay. Overall, I think we could get it a little better. So we'll figure it out. A little bit of tweaking here, a little bit of tweaking there, but I think that idea will work. Okay, so let's see here. That feels better. It feels like there's a little bit of compression in now. And let's do a little bit on the tail here. So as the chest goes up, let's do the tail down here, up there, and down there, up there. And then we'll probably delay this by like 2 frames so that everything's not hitting on 5s and 10s. So let's see. Alright, so like I said, we'll delay that about 2 frames, 1, 2, and that should help give a little variety to the movement. I think we might need to exaggerate the upward position, and I wish there was a little bit of rotate on this so that we could flick that tail, but it doesn't look like we're given that controller, so you gotta work with what you got here. So let's see. On the downward positions there because it feels like it's just kind of like hitting a wall on the up one because it's got so much down. So let's see if that helps a little bit. Yeah, that feels a little better. And then also let's go ahead and do a teeny bit of side to side here. do this and translate X that way. 15. We'll do that at a different timing too. And instead of 25 and delete and 35. Do a little tip that way. And that way we've got that bounce and we've got that tilt in there. And we might minimize the amount of this that we've got in there too. But let's see here. So let's see if that's working. Yeah, it gives us that nice little kind of figure 8 movement that we're looking for. Okay, so let's go ahead and save our file here. And let's watch it from the side, see if that's going. I feel like this first step is a little too far forward, so let's pull it back a little bit here. That feels a little more even. I think this step here for this one could be a little more forward, just a little bit. And this one can be a little more forward as well here. Just to try to get that kind of gap in between there. And let's go ahead and pull the hips back just a little bit. So we can get a little bit of that silhouette there, that light to shine through those. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. Let's get into this head and see if we can't do a little bit of up and down on the head as well to kind of offset what we got on the neck. Give a little texture to it. And then if we can maybe delay that a frame too, that'll help. Okay, so let's delay that, what, 2 frames? Let's see. Actually, let's do 1 frame. Up and down. Just scale it back a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and watch that now. Okay, and let's do a little bit on the bottom jaw here. Thanks. Just so we can get some movement on there as well. Because we don't want stuff to lock up or not be, you know, we want to be as fun as we can with these things. Okay. I think we might go the other way with this, and obviously we went too much towards the end, so we'll scale that back a little bit. And let's go ahead, actually let's get everything settled first. Let's go do that, something like that. Okay, sorry about that. Should have paused real quick. I think we might tone that down a little bit more because we don't really want it to look like it's chatting so much, and that's one of the things with JAWS that you have to worry about. think we have a little bit of intersection too. So that means we'll probably have to bring all of that upward a little bit more to avoid that. Let's see here. Just have to adjust this a little bit more until we get it right here. Let's do a little bit of, what's this, rotate Z here. Let's go launch that now. Let's see here. Let's get rid of the bounce on that jaw. Let's try and just keep doing that and just do some sway in there. Yeah. Maybe just do a little bit of there. And then we'll delay it a couple of frames too, see if we can't get that working the way we want it. Let's watch it from this way. And let's do a little bit of rotate Y this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Let's switch them. Okay. Let's take everything, we'll just delay it one frame. Let's see. Just there's a little bit of looseness in that jaw. Let's maybe just lift it up a little bit more. Let's see here. Okay, let's go and save that. Dip those little arms down, lift them up, dip them down, lift them up, down, lift them up. We just want to mix it up, add some more texture to this shot because it feels like everything's still kind of hitting, since the big stuff is hitting at the same similar frames and timing and everything. let's delay that 2 frames. 2 feels better. Let's go ahead and do this one. And then what's that translate Z? Nope. Translate X. Forward, push that back. Okay, I think we need to clean that up, but I think that idea will work here. Just do a little bit here. Translate Y. Translate X. Do a little less bounce now. It feels like it's a little too much. Up and down on that one. Okay. Let's go and watch it now. Let's see. Yeah, it's just way too much movement overall. So let's go ahead and grab translate Y's and translate Y's, and we'll just scale them back even more. Gotta find if, if you want it to be the focus of your shot, then definitely have it be the thing that draws the eye, but if you just want it to be something that's kind of help with the feel of it, then you gotta tone stuff down sometimes. That's okay. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of save our file here, and let's do a little bit of rotate on those hands as well. Sometimes you gotta really zoom in to grab the right thing here. Rotate Z versus rotate Z. Okay. Let's try and find a good balance between the two. Try and do is get a little bit of change of shape in these feet. So let's save our file here. Let's do the toe roll. Yeah, that's not what I want. Now our toe spread. Ball roll. No. Ball pivot. No. Heel roll. Guess we can do that. I think, unless it's too heavy, because they're big, but I want those to feel like there's weight behind them, so let's see. Yeah, maybe we'll give it one more frame, just because that feels like it's just hitting too hard, which weight is one thing, and we'll squash it down, but we don't want it to feel jerky. Neutered it too much, so let's scale it back again. There we go. And let's go ahead and do that for this foot here. So let's let the heel roll. Drag it back there. Lift it up here. Let's zero it out there. And roll it back there. Lift it up here. Let's zero it out there. This will let us do the toe. Oh yeah, well, okay, so maybe we don't need to do the heel, maybe we need to do the toe. So let's do this here. Drag them back there, lift them up, and zero, so zero. So let's see. Feel the weight difference between those two? Now that we got that, so drag those, lift them up, zero them out here. Now it feels like there's some weight there. And let's go ahead and grab this one here. And let's grab both of those toes and drag them out. We'll lift them up, and we'll zero them out here. And I think we'll have maybe one toe lead and one toe follow there, so that there's some variety. 0, 0, 0. And drag them back there. Lift them up. So let's see. Okay, so let's grab both of them and let's grab the toe index and we'll push it forward a frame. And let's take the toe outer delay a frame. So let's see. And then let's go ahead and accentuate that toe mid. Not on the drag, but on the lift up. That's a little too much, so let's go ahead and scale it back a little bit. Let's see. I think we're going to need to make sure the heights on each of those steps be, what does that translate? Z, I think, for this one. That those are even. As I noticed, there's some intersection between the feet and the ground there, so I want to make sure that we're avoiding that. Yeah, I think that worked out alright, so let's go ahead and save our file here. Turn our curves off. Like I said, unfortunately there's a little deformation in those eyes in this rig, but other than that, I think that the rig works pretty well. So let's go ahead and find a good camera angle to do with this one. I was kind of thinking maybe something like this might work, just so that it makes it seem like it's a big, giant little T-Rex thing. Alright, so let me know down in the comments down below what you liked about this one, or what you know, your ideas were. If you end up trying this rig out, definitely share back any videos or any things that you create with this one, so you can see the awesome stuff that you guys are producing. Let's take a look one more time at their inspiration from today. One reason that people have artist block is that they do not respect the law of dormancy in nature. Trees don't produce fruit all year long, constantly. They have a point where they go dormant. And when you're in a dormant period creatively, if you can arrange your life to do the technical tasks that don't take creativity, you're essentially preparing for the spring when it will all blossom again. And check out Marshall Vandruff's stuff. He's a great teacher. He's really inspiring, and he's got some great work of his own as well. Definitely try this rig out, see what fun stuff you can come up with, and keep on creating, keep on animating, keep on being imaginative, and keep on inspiring the people around you. And with that being said, I appreciate it. Thanks again for all the thumbs up and subscribing to the channel, and you guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow for some more animation.